is a work called faith, he also teaches us there is a labor that flows out of love. If you truly love something, you don't mind working for it. Jacob understood the labor of love. Do you remember his story? He was willing to labor 7 years for his love. And remember, how many remember the old tradition? I was going back in my thoughts. I was thinking about this. I grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana, and one of the first department stores came in. I think it was even before Kmart. I'm aging myself here. There was a department store, and I'm trying to think. I think it was called Tops, Topps. Anybody from the Midwest? Wasn't there a department store called Tops? And everybody's shaking their head. No, I got one from Elkhart. Thank you, brother. You're from Indiana, right? Connecticut, that's pretty close. It's neighboring. It's only 8 states away. But anyway, this department store, that's what you call recovering. This department store had a program called the layaway plan. Yeah, now I'm getting everybody to nod their heads. You would pick out what you want, and as a little guy growing up in Indianapolis, Indiana, I'd take a toy to the layaway counter, and I would say to the kind lady behind the desk, I want to put this on layaway. And here was the plan. You put it on layaway. That means every so often you bring in your allowance, you bring in your money from working in the yard or from mowing the grass or what, and you pay it on account. It's the layaway plan. And when you get it paid for, then you can take it home because it's yours. So Jacob entered into a relationship with Laban because he wanted to labor for Rachel, the love of his life, and he thought it was the layaway plan. He said, I want Rachel, I love her. And Laban said, okay, then we'll enter into this agreement. You put money down, you work every day for 7 years. It's the layaway plan, and after you get that labor of love completed, then she'll be yours, and you can take her home. And he's thrilled. In fact, the Bible says, and I looked up this verse for you, it's Genesis 29:20. So Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed to him but a few days because the love that he had for her. Genesis 29:20. The labor of love. It just seemed the 7 years went by in a flash because he was laboring in love. Now, what happened after the 7 years? Of course, Laban tricked him. Do you know what the word Jacob means? Jacob means supplanter. Jacob means crooked as a barrel of snakes, thief, scoundrel, conniver. Everybody's cheating. No one's honest. And Laban out-Jacobed Jacob. Jacob found someone finally that was shrewder than he was. And after he worked for Rachel 7 years on the layaway plan, what did Laban do? He snuck in the older sister. And all of a sudden, Jacob was surprised that Leah was there in his marriage rather than Rachel. And so he goes to Laban and he says, what? I wanted the other sister. I wanted the younger sister. I wanted Rachel. And what did Laban say? Okay, you remember that thing called the labor of love. I gave you one daughter on the layaway plan. You get her paid off, 7 years of hard labor, she's yours. But if you want the second one, it's going to be the installment plan. It's like the payments on a car. You can have the car now, but you're going to be enslaved to the payments for 7 years. And the Bible says that Jacob did that willingly because it was a labor of love. Are you understanding this illustration? There's a work of faith. There's a labor of love. And then Paul says to the Thessalonians, there is also the steadfastness of hope.